diminish what you're fighting for, or diminish your view. It's seen as a plus, not a minus, and not even as just something to classify you. It's a plus. So it really takes a person to really diligently try to work through that sort of relationship, and it's the sort of relationship that a lot of people of color have had to try to go through. Like, how in this society do you continue to fight and continue to fight under this race, but still trying to see yourself as more than what they classify you as.
Right, because I think that one of the things that is important to discuss between anybody is just, the Black Lives Matter movement, how in all the movements that we have, that black people have led, in all of those movements, it's always been black this and black that. However, we're trying to fight for the equal treatment or recognition as not just black, but as, whether it's American or just as people. But how can it makes it hard for other people to see you as, like, not just black, or that black is something that is amazing or great or different than how it's been perceived in the past. When you continue to just operate underneath black and not above it, but also recognize that black, that you are black, right? The essence of this is the fact that you're black, and it affects you because you are black. And you don't want these things to affect you because you are black. You want the equal treatment that everybody else gets for just being American, right? For just being who they are. So,
I guess the pushback for that is kind of like why, or I guess how people say, like, why are you always pulling the race card? Why are you always pulling the race card? It's always about race for you, huh?
Yeah.
And it's like,
it's your fault.
It wouldn't have to be that way if everything wasn't about race to begin with.
Right.
So it's kind of like you have to recognize that, because if the civil rights movement of the times, and the this is essentially sort of like another civil rights movement now. If the fighting point was just equality for all, it's like this all has never meant all in this society.
Right.
All men were created equal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great construct, but not a reality in the time that it was said. Or liberty and justice for all, yet we have this sort of system. So this sort of all mentality in America specifically has never meant all.
Yeah, it first started off with white men who thought a certain way and believed a certain way.
Yeah.
And it was never officially, those rights were never officially extended, or at least in the system, it seems as if those rights were never fully extended to us. So I think a great way to wrap up the conversation is, well then, what do you think equality is?
Well, I mean, equality on its basis is just it's like the same treatment on all levels at all times, right?
Right.
But
is that achievable in this system, in the American government system, the American society? Do you think that equality is achievable?
I believe that equality, or just like sort of like humanity, like nobody, no matter what they do, no matter what they try, will ever be perfect. That's just humanity. Never will be perfect. Always striving for it, never reaching it. But it's in reaching those heights that you achieve the essence of humanity, in trying to achieve that. And I think the same thing is sort of in equality, because equality is this thing created by man.
An idea.
This idea created by man, just like everything else. So just like man himself, equality is something that might not ever be truly achieved because of the nature of man. And that's why we create these systems like that. That's why there is a government to begin with, because man on his face always, or if man was so great and so fair and just, we would never need to worship a god or to have a government,
right,
to tell us what to do.
Yeah.
We would never need to worship these things or be controlled by these things if man was so great. So the governments, whether it's authoritarian, democratic, but governments were created as that constraint for the outskirts of man. Government was created to limit and make equal, in terms of a democracy, of course, but to make order first and foremost, and in a democratic sense, to make equal, because we know that man by himself will not create that unless he's in a certain environment or in a certain construct. So systematically, I feel like equality can be achieved in a system. Depends on who's writing the system, of course, but because it's man, it's kind of like a feedback loop. Like, man is not perfect, so he creates a system to try to make himself more perfect, and in turn, because he created the system can never be perfect.
Right.
It's going back.
Yeah, and it's an endless loop.
It's an endless loop, but it is a constant work, a constant progress, constant work in progress. So, can man ever achieve this equality? As I'm alive, so I have to hope so.
Right.
But I am human, and I know the nature
of humanity.
Of humanity. So it's like.
So, with that being said, basically based off of what has been said, I would say that to be human means to be, because I've heard two things, right? I think first, to be human, which separates us from other walks of life, and this isn't the exact definition, but this is one I think that is really interesting, is that you are able to materialize your imagination. Right? Any other species, you can argue that they're able to materialize their imagination, or that they were designed to do what they say. Our purpose on this planet has constantly been a conversation. Yeah. Too. Right? But it's never been argued that we are not able to materialize our imagination. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Everything man-made came from a thought. Mm-hmm. Or, some type of feeling, Everything man-made, everything down to the system that we have created, it was something that somebody imagined and tried to materialize. Now, do we say that everything that we materialize as humans is perfect? No. There's imperfection in every perfection. Right? But I think that to be human also means to take responsibility in the positivity and the negativity, the good and the evil that comes from the material that we create using our imagination. So, to tie it back into what I think is humane in terms of what needs to go on right now, what humans should do, should be within our nature to do right now, is to admit when a creation that we tried to do, a creation that we had tried to, an imagination that we tried to materialize, America, the democracy, the police system, right? It has evil within it. It has damage within it. Imperfections, right? So it's to first acknowledge those imperfections, which a lot of people through this movement and through awareness have been doing.
Yeah.
And then fix it so that it doesn't just attack black people. It doesn't just attack white people. It just doesn't attack Hispanic people. It doesn't attack anybody. Instead, it helps, keep order, right? And make people feel safe, which is something that you need in a society, right? Whether, however you can argue what that order can look like, but feeling safe is always a good thing. You always want to feel safe where you are, right? And it shouldn't be where you have to kill another person in order to feel safe, right? It should be where you are humane, benevolent, loving, caring, kind, right? And you extend that human, not even right, it should just be, first nature to be kind to somebody else who shares the same, who shares the same, connection between you. We're all humans at the end of the day. You can split us up into groups, you can do all this, but we're all humans at the end of the day. And I think that is important to admit, because that equality may not, we may always be in those classes, right? And in those classifications, those groups, the races, etc. It can come with its stereotypes, but it also comes with black culture, black excellence, right? Hispanic culture, Hispanic excellence, you know what I'm saying? And Asian culture, all culture,
yeah,
that has developed over the years, and we can classify it as that. It would be great to be a part of that culture. And so, I admit with what you're saying, right? It would be weird to just look at us as all just humans, because it will get rid of that culture construct. But I think it's important for us to at least treat each other, right, in humane ways.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? Because a lot of people don't understand. We understand. A lot of people don't understand what it feels like to be treated as if you aren't human, but then to be forced to act humane. So, with that being said, I think that is a great way to close out. Right?
Yeah, it's just, how is somebody who does not regard humans as human, how are we looking at them to tell us what is human?
Right.
How are we looking at the people who have done the most inhumane things? Why do they get to determine what is human?
Right. Why and how come they go against their own definition of humane?
Yeah.
Right? Part of the definition was to free those that you see, whether animal or human, in captivity. Yet we slaughter, we kill. The nature of America is violence. Usually violence is what brings, awareness, and why does it have to get to that place, right?
Yeah, but the nature of human is hypocrisy.
Exactly.
So
and I hate, bro. Anybody who knows me knows I hate a hypocrite.
It is what it is.
Hate a hypocrite.
But it's about how we can. It's about recognizing the hypocrisy and the biases, and recognizing our shortcomings, which will definitely allow us to achieve that higher place. So
hey, bro.
Episode 3.
Episode 3. One of my favorite conversations, actually. No cap. I've had an immense amount of fun discussing this throughout the entire day. You know what I'm saying? This is episode 3.
Thank you for tuning in.
You have listened to the 3rd official episode of the New Knowledge Podcast. Yes, sir!